I'll vote to keep it. Now, the other night I was with a group up in Bishop, and my wife reminded me that I was a little cavalier, I know that would shock some of you here tonight, about my comments on health care. But the fact is, I'm 54 and young and middle-aged and hardy, and I don't think about health so much. But last November, my wife, the gorgeous Miss Pinkerton back there, donated a kidney to a relative who was within the 10 months the doctor said they were going to be dead at the end of the year. And my wife reminded me that when your health is in jeopardy, health care issues become a lot more important. And we all have known people who, through no fault of their own, have run into health problems, and things get expensive.
Thank you, John.
Get better.
Anthony, Adam, same question.
Thank you very much. I certainly would vote against or vote in favor of repealing what we're calling Obamacare. But please make no mistake about it. I absolutely believe that there's a fundamental problem with health care in America. I don't think the answer resolves itself at the federal government level. I think that's wrong for the federal government to intervene at something that really should be a state issue, something that the states have a responsibility to take care of. But make no mistake about it, we have men and women who have pre-existing conditions who are literally being turned away by every single insurance company, who have no recourse but to end up in our hospital beds at taxpayer expense, us footing the bill. We have men and women who want to have families but can't support it because of the maternity care costs. We have people that fall into harm's way, whether they get leukemia or some other kind of cancer. These are people that need to be cared for, taken care of. I don't think that the federal government is the right place to do it, but I do believe that we need health care reform in this country.
Thank you.
Based on the constitutional situation that you see the Supreme Court wrestling with right now, Obamacare should be repealed. It will be repealed if I get it. I believe that the private sector has the ability, and a strong president has the ability to bring Kaiser and Aetna, Aetna's out now, Kaiser, and any one of the other major insurance companies in and go, look, let's work something for America. But let's do it from the private sector. Let's make it fair for everybody. Let's make it so cheap that any of us could afford to pay 25 bucks a week or 100 bucks a month to get our kid the insurance, even if we didn't get it. But there's got to be a way the private sector can drive that. There is no way that the IRS should be taking on 15,000 new people to go after your bank account for another government mandate. It is constitutionally unfounded.
I echo most of the concerns here. I would repeal Obamacare because it puts us on a further downward slope in our sovereignty and a further decline in socialism. I really feel that would happen. That's one reason why I got in this thing, because I don't want to see our country going that way. And I will not allow it if I can have any word in it at all. And look at the Medicare system already hemorrhaging money. The VA system is a good system. I'm part of the VA system. That's where I get my care. And they've always done a good job by me, and I really haven't heard too many complaints from other veterans. But I would talk to people, if I was there, I would talk to people like Dr. Craig and find out his opinion, because he's going to be right there. How does he feel about his payment? How does he feel about giving? Is he going to have to get free care? Is he going to have to? So getting input from a doctor.
Thank you. Representative Dr. George Craig.
Well, that's a great question. And it really hardly has, I don't know what the answer is. Because, for example, you have to keep in mind a couple of things. That particular bill is 2,700 pages long. And when we passed Medicare back in 1965, that bill was 40 or 50 pages long. So the thing is simply too convoluted, it's too involved, and that doesn't say anything about the fact that the regulations that pertain to that bill, I've heard run about 10,000 pages. So the thing is just too unwieldy. As a sidebar, let me say, one of the things that I would do is I think we've got to get away from these bills that run hundreds and hundreds, thousands, not hundreds, thousands of pages. It's just impossible. You can't get around that, and you don't know what you're talking about.
I don't believe that the government has a right to tell us what insurance that we have. I do believe that the healthcare system does need to be reformed, affordable, and accessible, and an option to all, no matter what race or income level, but not at the risk of violating our constitutional rights. Maybe I'm old school, but I'm used to working for my benefits. I'm used to taking care of my own and working for my keep and not looking for a handout from the government. In office, if the Supreme Court doesn't, I will repeal Obamacare.
Well, the answer for me is easy. Yes, I vote to repeal it, but I believe that the Supreme Court will do the right thing and they will overturn the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, whatever you want to call it, only because the individual mandate is unconstitutional. The only rights that should be there is at the state level, not at the federal level. But that being said, I'm in the insurance business. I sell health care as a living, and I have seen and had to communicate with my clients over the last 10 years increases that are in the double digits every single year. There is a problem with health care. It needs to be fixed. But what Obama and the previous Congress tried to do did not fix it. It will not fix it. In fact, costs are only going to go up with what they did, not go down. We have to increase access. We have to increase competition. That is the only way you will drive the cost down of health care.
It is absolutely unconstitutional to mandate health insurance or impose anything else on the American people. For that reason alone, I would vote to repeal Obamacare.
That you want to respond to something that someone has said on a panel, you have 30 seconds to respond to whatever they have said that you'd like to respond.
May I do that?
Yes.
Mr. Jensen, my friend here, he said if they attack you, I don't think that's the case. I don't feel anyone's attacked anyone. But I do want to raise a couple of points because I think this is the kind of conversation that requires so much more than a minute. Let's be clear, private insurance is definitely part of the answer. California only allows about 1/3 of all people who could potentially provide insurance to come into our state because of the overregulation. We can do a whole lot together to make a difference, but there is a bigger problem at work, and healthcare cannot be ignored as an issue that is fundamental to what makes this country good.
Thank you, Anthony Adams. The question is, are you for implementation of Agenda 21? If so, why?
I apologize, I don't know what Agenda 21 is.
Should I give you
I apologize. I mean, I'm not going to pretend to know something that I don't. I'd rather just hear what it is succinctly from somebody, and I'll give an opinion. But
thank you. Dale Jensen, your response.
Absolutely not in favor of Agenda 21. Absolutely not in favor of Hillary Clinton signing anything that says they're going to limit our gun laws to the United Nations. Absolutely not in favor of any control of our troops in the field of battle under the United Nations or their permission or NATO or anybody else. Our troops are governed by our chief, and that is the President of the United States.
Yes, one of the gentlemen from Patriot Forum gave me that website, and I have been looking at it, but I haven't studied it. I have read it through, and I echo what Bill just said, and from what I see on the face of it. But I can't speak from a scholarly point at this time, but I don't like what I see.
Thank you, Justice Napolitano.
Well, I didn't know what Agenda 21 was until I heard the answer from Jensen there. And I was in the military, I was in the Navy, in the Marine Corps, and I would find it very, very difficult to go to war under any circumstance to do anything in a military way under a flag other than the flag of the United States of America. So
I would be opposed to Agenda 21. If you think our country's in bad shape now, it would be disastrous. We would be overregulated, the liberals would take control, and be completely socialist. I studied in Beijing. You think communist countries are bad? Agenda 21 would make it worse.
Thank you,
I don't know how anybody in this room would be for Agenda 21, but no, I'm completely against it. I think it really pushes us into a socialism type of government, and it just doesn't make any sense. We're dealing with that even as we speak here in California with the implementation of SB 375. They want us all to move into Los Angeles, folks, and live there, ride trains, ride bikes, and not live out in the beautiful desert that we live in now. So I'm 100% against
The simple design of Agenda 21, there was a UN meeting in Rio de Janeiro in 1994, and it's an environmental protection. It's like a global, it was a resolution. And when you look at it, the people, and I mean the people on the left, the socialists that are in Washington, have been for years moving to implement that Agenda 21, because what it does, it attacks this little document I have here, the Constitution. They're using Agenda 21 to bypass and work around the Constitution. Through environmental protection, they're going to move us, like Ryan said, into small communities. They're going to disarm us. They're going to take away our gun rights. They're using Agenda 21 to destroy this nation. It's a big socialist effort. I'm against it, and I want to pull out and defund the UN.
I don't know much about Agenda 21, but I take it that y'all don't like it. And I do believe that our Constitution is a document that should guide us. And I am a Democrat that has guns at my house, so don't steal from me. And I live in a big country home that I built. And I drove here in my big 4x4 Dodge coming through though. Okay, so I think every one of us is just as patriotic as the other. Okay, so I'll learn more about Agenda 21. I'll talk to you folks, and I'm sure you're going to give me an earful, and I'll listen. Okay, I will learn. But you want to be careful of somebody that has all the answers already. I'm not saying that's me.
Thank you, John.